It was 5,000 scarlet creds. It's the stance former for melee weapons. It modifies the stance slot for a melee weapon to be compliant with any mod polarity. May as well pick this up and we'll give it a try. Honestly, I really didn't want to. I was just making sure I got everything I wanted out of this event because it ends in a few days. I was going to set this thing off, but it requires a built Forma, which is a bit overkill, 5 niatan extract, and an argon crystal. I don't have an argon crystal. For 5,000 creds, that should have been a built dance Forma. Now can set this off. 24 hours to build, 100,000 credits. Wow. Okay. Will not be rushing this just out of principle, because 100,000 credits and then 10 platinum on top? No. Trying to figure out what to put this on can be quite annoying. The glaive pretty much has 2 stances that all shares polarities. There's only 2 polarities that the sword stances use. Same goes for the dual daggers, or the dual dagger type weapons. That only has 1 stance. I would put it on the pennant because I'm busy playing with that a bit more at the moment because everybody is raving about this thing. But again, it's a 2-handed Nakana. It only has 1 stance, and that falls into glaives. It would suck. So for weapons I actually use, there isn't any that I can really kind of throw this on and say, well, it'll allow me to use other stances that don't work on this weapon. This Forma is completely useless. Maybe. Yeah, prime example. V polarity, it has 2 stances, and they're both V polarity anyway. So putting it on a gunblade would be a waste of time as well. And to be fair, the paracesis, after the build I have in it, it has 27 points available, so that's enough points to just be able to turn around and go, well, I don't want to run Tempo Royale, that is the same power. Oh, I want to try this in there. It only takes it down by 6 points, so not really going to be worth doing the paracesis, which I'm using all of the time because, well, the sentient is now a thing that will constantly attack you. Woohoo! Can actually claim this. I've lost my mouse. Busy doing other things, so this may take a while, but stance Forma. I nearly just put this thing on the wrong weapon. Now, I've been looking around, and honestly, one of the weapons that I want to go back and play with is the Zenistor. This is mainly because, well, the only stance that fits on it, really, is Rending Crane. And I prefer Cleaving Whirlwind. And I was never willing to put another Forma in there to change this polarity of the aura. Well, now, don't have to. No, I thought I clicked the wrong button there. I know how to Warframe. Install this. Bam! The whole point of this has nothing... No, I'll leave that in there. Has nothing to do with builds or anything else. It just turns the stance polarity into a universal one. So you can literally put any stance in here and it will work, no matter what the polarity is. This is not the best place to have used this, but honestly, this Forma is useful. Yes, it works exactly as it's supposed to. It allows you to get them instead of forming one of these, and say it's now formatted 4 times including this one. So 3 of these were added afterwards. I don't know if it was a dash or a V offhand, but instead of polarizing one of those, I would have just polarized that if I had this Forma when this weapon came out. But I guess you could say this for the Kuva based melee weapon as well. It would have been useful there, not because there's that many different stances, there's 2, and because this thing needed to be formatted 5 times, I probably wouldn't have wasted the stance in this, the Forma in this, but it would have been better used in here, because this aura, it'll work, but there is a very small number of people who will actually use this thing as it is meant to be used, allowing the stance mod slot to be able to actually be used with any stance, because most weapons have only got 1 or 2, and most of them are only 1 or 2 polarities. So it's just as easy to format that slot to a different one, unlike auras, where you can run absolutely any, and there's a lot of different auras, ranging from the V to the dash, the D polarity, yeah, and you can run absolutely any of them when you forma an aura forma onto a Warframe. It is basically exactly the same, but less needed, because let's be honest, most weapons have only got 2 polarities anyway, and if you're going to put a forma into here, then you would just forma it from a V to a D if you wanted to put Cleaving Whirlwind on there, rather than waste a forma like this on here. I may pick another one up just to have one in reserve for future weapons that do have 3, but most weapons you have one stance that you like over other ones, so really it's kind of a waste of a forma. Which is why I mentioned the Kuva weapons earlier, because if you use it on those, they need to be formatted 5 times anyway, so you may as well waste a forma on a weapon that is a waste of forma, because 5 forma on the Kuva weapons, the melee, waste of time. Normal ones is fine, but melee, well, you can build a really strong melee weapon with 2 or 3 forma. 5? Yeah, that was massive overkill. 6, throwing that on there would be even worse. But anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.